evening, everyone. Welcome to the February 9th, 2026 Planning Board meeting. Could we first please stand for the pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. We got some late breaking correspondence. Anything we want to talk about?
No.
John?
Nothing here.
Counselor?
No, sir.
Move on to the meeting minutes of January 12th, 2026. Any corrections, additions, alterations?
I didn't have any.
Motion to accept.
Is there a second?
Second.
All's in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. We're going to move into the regular portion of the meeting. First on the agenda is an adjourned public hearing. This is the Part 3 golf course.
Good evening.
How
Good
are you?
evening.
Carmine DeMeglio, Part 3. How's everybody doing?
Good, yourself?
Good.
What do you got for us?
So met with Mr. Tegater and we agreed on that resolution, right? Pretty much. I also reached out to Tim Miller Associates, a acoustical study group, so they've seen the property. Obviously, we can't walk it yet, but me and Mr. Tegater will walk it with them once the snow is gone to give us ideas on the sound. And I'm in contact with someone on the block, and I call him all the time if anything's being done or any music, and I always talk to him right now, and we got a contact together, and everything's been great so far. So, I mean, the outside will be different, we'll come to that as the
Well,
weather
there's
gets
no
nicer.
music outside right now, correct?
No. I said when the weather gets nicer, then we'll deal with the sound situation.
Have you actually hired an acoustical engineer?
We hired him. He came to look at the property, but we can't walk the property.
But have you hired him?
Yes.
We're willing to talk to the acoustic guy if they want to go through sort of some things, what we would expect.
Yep.
If that's necessary or
Yes, no,
desirable.
I told him we'd
happy
have a
to do
meeting
that.
with you guys and we'll walk together.
Well, isn't this a,
It's a golf course.
I mean, are we continuing the hearing tonight?
All right, excuse
Okay,
me.
so let's go.
And also, once the snow is gone, about the netting for the golf balls that the man was complaining that were going in his backyard.
Right.
So we're gonna deal with that too, as soon as the weather breaks.
Is there any alternative lighting to the bright lights that abut the residential properties?
Well, we moved the lights. I mean, we said we would point them down more so that people wouldn't, see them.
Is there any way to diminish the capacity of those lights?
Yes, I can tell you right now, we did it for like 4 months. We're probably gonna lessen that also to like, it was 5 months, I believe, to like just June, July, and August. So it'll only be 3 months also. But we can try, we can try to get less lighting and to see how it works, absolutely. They're temporary lighting, they're on wheels, so we can pretty much do whatever we want.
This is an adjourned public hearing. Anybody from the audience like to speak to the application? Someone has to make a first right? Is that Joe? It was Joe. Anything further the board wants to talk about?
Yes, but why don't we close the hearing and then talk about the resolution?
We good with that? All right, do I have a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, I was reviewing the draft resolution, and there are some things which I think you could probably specify now instead of later, and I think the more information we have and conditions we agree upon in the resolution, the better off everybody is. So our conditions, one of the proposed conditions after this is approved is that a acoustic survey and report be supplied. So what would the purpose of that be? I mean, it's partially a board question in terms of having that in as a condition prior to approval. The only condition I see in the resolution right now are mitigation measures need, as currently installed, need to be detailed. Sound attenuation measures for the future outdoor music events need to be supplied. And an acoustic report needs to be supplied. So how much of that can be done for us to review prior to approving this? That's the question I have. I think as much as possible should be done ahead of time.
Prior to, if you don't mind me asking a question, prior to approving the resolution?
Yeah.
Because I think that the one I'm looking at has those requirements prior to the signature of the plan, post
And is that
resolution approval.
sufficient? Is that?
Just by way of clarification.
Okay, I get that. So would those things have to come back to us?
Yes. And you can also add in there to all those numbered items
Yeah.
that it's to your satisfaction.
Would it make sense on this particular application in view of the fact that the most prominent time of the year is the summer to require a mandatory reassessment of the effectiveness of our conditions, say at our October
idea.
meeting?
I'm sorry?
Oh, you didn't hear me?
I'm sorry,
Oh, okay. Given the nature of the conditions that we're discussing, would it not make sense to have a mandatory review of the effectiveness of these conditions, say at our meeting in October, when they've had a chance to really play out, and we know whether or not they've been effective, or if there's still a problem?
No, I think you can sort of monitor the effectiveness of the measures, yes.
That are taken
I think we
pursuant?
should.
I also think that when the proposed measures come in, you should review that and
Yeah.
make sure you're satisfied with the measures that they're proposing.
So then I would add something to that effect in the additional conditions, that not only must they propose these conditions, but we reserve the right to monitor and change them after the condition, after the measures are placed in the, out there
I
on the,
think a date.
and we can say we'll evaluate, well,
I think we ought to set a date to reevaluate so that we could actually
on or before, yeah,
get public
Sure.
comment.
okay. Then I would go ahead.
How long is the permit good for?
The special permit?
Yeah.
Special permits generally run with the land.
But how long does it last? Do you have to go for renewal? Is it a finite period of time? Or is it, you're saying run with the land means it's indefinite once they get it?
Indefinite with the use and the operator, but if you want to set some points at which you review some of these things, I think you can do that.
We can do a year, can't we? And then,
Well, by fall, we should have input from the public if there's any to be had.
okay,
You right with that?
Yeah, after the season, you mean?
Yeah.
To come back and go over everything, if
Yeah.
everything was, good, yeah.
Can we work that in?
An outdoor dining permit is typically 1 year, and then you can go 3, 5.
I would do one start
Yeah.
with a review that we're
Yeah,
discussing.
it's, next January, we're not gonna get as much feedback as we get in the fall. If there's a problem with the acoustics, the lighting, or anything else.
I would
it's gonna be
reserve,
apparent by fall.
I like the idea of a specific date, but I would like to reserve the right to reevaluate it at any point. that
On or
somebody-
before,
Yeah,
on or before.
that somebody gives us information to work on, we'll bring it up.
Right. I
Okay.
If there's a
Understand,
problem and it's brought to our attention,
We can review it.
we can.
of course. All right, no problem.
Okay. All right.
That's all right?
Yes, sir.
Good?
Yeah, with those additional points, yes.
John?
So you want us to make those amendments?
Yes.
Okay.
So, front of us, we have a resolution approving an amended site plan and special use permit for outdoor dining for the Par 3 Golf Course with the amendments as discussed. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Or a second? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.
Very good, thank you.
Okay, next up, we have a Wallach Management. This is a public informational hearing. Location is Field Street. Do I have a motion to open the public informational hearing?
Motion.
Second? All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. Are your directions off?
Just letting you know I'm here. Anyway. Good evening, Joseph Rena, the Principal Site Design Consultants. I'm here tonight with Steve Marino. We are representing Wallach Management that has a parcel of land on Field Street, which is a remnant of the Fox Den subdivision. At the time, this site was designated to be 2 lots, but because of poor soil conditions, the septic system would not work, so it was set aside until sewers became available, and now sewers are available. So we're proposing a 2-lot subdivision as stated. The property is 2.4 acres. It's zone R140. It conforms to all the zoning setbacks, lot size, etc. There is a wetland on the property, which Steve Marino will explain his mitigation approach. As I said, the lots will be served by public sewer and public water. We're showing 2 potential or conceptual house sites there and driveways. As you can see, the rear yards of, let me just point this out here, and Steve will go into this. This heavy line going through the lots here is the 100-foot setback from the wetland, and as you can see, the rear of the 2 proposed homes are in the wetland area. So with that said, I'm going to turn it over to Steve, and he can explain the mitigation aspect and the wetland aspect.
Good evening, Steve Marino, Tim Miller Associates. What we are looking at is this 2.4 acre parcel on the west side of Field Street, proposed for 2-lot subdivision. The western edge of the property is a wooded wetland. It's not a DEC regulated wetland. We've got confirmation from them with a JD that it's not regulated by the DEC, but it's town regulated. There'll be some proposed encroachment to within the 100-foot setback for both of the lots, a total between the 2 parcels of about 13,000 square feet. As I mentioned, from Field Street all the way to the back line, it's a densely wooded parcel. Trees both in the wetland, in the buffer, and outside of the buffer. But there's no real understory to speak of other than barberry, which is a non-native invasive species and a nuisance species. So we have kind of a dual-pronged attack at mitigating the rear yard areas in the buffer. That area you see there in the light green will be cleared out of the invasive species, primarily the barberry, by hand. It's not a terrible species to remove once you get in there, but It is thorny, so we'll get in, but we can get in there and clear that out in the understory. And then go back in with native shrubs. You can see all those green circles. Go in with a number of native shrubs and replant that area as a better defined wetland buffer. We would use deer fencing around the different isolated masses of shrubs in order to give the new plants chance to grow and avoid deer browse as they get larger. Some trees are also proposed. I think we're proposing 7 or 8 trees within the buffer. Like I said, the entire parcel is densely wooded. There will be some clearing of trees in the areas for the homes and backyard areas, but the rest of the trees will remain on site. I can go through the tree part of it real quick as well. We identified 175 trees on the site. Hold on. Oh. Get to my age, you wear 2 different types of glasses. One's for reading, okay. So there are 174 trees on the site. The site plan as it's laid out now will require removal of 64 of those trees, so there'll still be 105 trees left on the 2 parcels. We've added 7 trees back in. Again, we're dealing with the buffer in the back of the lot that's already densely wooded, so there's really not much room to put too many additional trees on the site. So we'll replace 7 of those trees and then work with the tree code in order to add to the town's tree fund to offset the loss of the remaining trees. That's really the kind of the high and low of it. If there's any questions, let me know.
Thank you. This is a public informational hearing, so if anybody has any questions, please come up to the stand. No one?
I just have one. Is it possible to put stone walls, at least over portions of the backyards, so there's no effort by the owners to
We could
make
certainly
sure-
look at either stone walls or a post and rail fence or some kind of a separation
walls,
between the
yeah.
rear yard and the enhanced buffer area. Yeah, we can certainly look at that.
We conducted a site visit, and I know we spoke when we were out there to Joe about the possibility of some kind of delineation out there.
And I know that during that site visit, there was also a question, I guess, on the northern part of it to add a little bit more planting in there as well, and we've done that since.
I think this is a relatively straightforward application. We didn't see anything out there to really raise any bells.
Right.
So you have a little bit of wetland area in the extreme,
Northwest corner.
you're not proposing any enhancement in there or mitigation for the disturbance to buffer or anything?
We haven't looked at that yet, but we can certainly look at that.
Okay.
Anything else, John? Anything else from the board?
No.
Do I have a motion to close the public informational hearing for Wallach Management?
Second.
Motion second.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Thank you very
Aye.
much. Here?
I'll do it.
Aaron's here. Okay, next we have a public hearing. The Michelangelo property located at 770 Blackberry Lane. Do I have a motion to open the public hearing?
Motion.
Is there a second?
Thank you, Jim.
Second?
Second. Sorry.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Good evening, Joseph Green, the principal site design consultant, representing the Manganiello family. Audra is here tonight with me. The application is for a proposed swimming pool in the rear yard of the existing residence. The aerial photo gives you an idea where that property is located. So, as you can see there, the pool, it's oddly shaped pool. It's not a rectangular pool, sitting there in the rear yard. It's currently placed over an existing. It would currently be placed over an existing play area. There is a stream that runs through the back of the property. The 100-foot setback from that stream is this line here, here, which runs through the residence and through the backyard of the property. The, there is a conservation easement line that was created as part of the subdivision that runs across, right across here. So the pool is located roughly 10 feet from that line as shown. We were before the Conservation Board, so that area that's shaded in green right now is currently part of the lawn area for the residents. So previous ownership of the property had gone beyond that conservation easement line and expanded their lawn into that area. So with at the recommendation of the Conservation Board, we're going to attempt to restore that area, planting some trees in there and allow it to revegetate in a more natural state. So that's the extent of the application. Again, we need a wetland permit for this because we are within that buffer and the 100 foot of the stream.
So you have a pool that is being placed over where a playground
Correctly.
is now,
Correctly.
and you're putting in some stormwater practices?
Yes, we're putting in a rain garden to
Right,
accommodate any runoff that comes off the surface of the pool patio.
which is an improvement over what's there now.
Right.
You're correcting some encroachments into the conservation easement.
Correct.
And does the conservation easement only involve this parcel or any adjacent parcel?
It runs through several parcels.
There's like a half a dozen, I think, it goes
Yeah.
right across.
Okay. Has it been intruded upon by the other parcels as well?
I believe so.
This is a public hearing. Anybody from the public wish to speak on the matter? Okay, anything from you, John?
In discussion-wise? What is the proposal to leave the lawn area within the conservation easement area?
No, it's
They're taking it out.
Take
to
it out.
take it out and plant trees there, yeah.
That's all I have.
Counselor?
Nothing.
All right then, do I have a motion to close the public hearing for the application?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I think we can move this along based upon the Conservation Board's recommendations that you already accept. There's no reason why we can't go ahead, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
You don't have a resolution, though.
Now, we'll put one together.
We got one.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay, thank you.
thank you. Good luck.
And the snow is still on the ground. Okay.
Here we go.
Okay, we're now in the work session portion of the meeting. First up is the Town Board Referral, Homeland Towers LLC, Granite Springs Road. Location is the same. How you doing?
Good evening. Very well. How are you?
Good, thank you.
If you recall, we were here in January, I think at the last meeting that we were at, and the next meeting was canceled, so we're happy to be back tonight. I think at the first meeting you had asked for a copy of the visual renderings with the viewshed map that had been provided to the town board some time ago. I believe that was provided to you. If you recall what we had discussed, this is here on a referral from the town board. From the time when you saw this a couple years back, we had revised the plans. We had narrowed the width of the access drive. We had reduced the number of trees to be removed. We had increased the number of plantings. We had prepared the full SWIP, the wetland mitigation report, and and all the stormwater and tree removal reports. We are not in the wetlands as part of this project. Since you had seen it back a couple years ago, we had relocated the access drive, and we're not in the wetlands. We're just in the buffer. So that's where the plans stand today. And again, this is on a referral to the town board, from the town board to the planning board.
So, just to refresh our memories, this proposal is on parkland.
No, the New York State Legislature alienated, at the town's request, the property from being parkland, so it is not parkland.
Was it parkland prior to the alienation?
It was parkland on record prior to the alienation. It's currently not parkland.
So if I would have bought a piece of property surrounding this parcel, when I bought the property, if I went to the town hall, they would have told me it's parkland.
Look, I'm not going to debate with you
I'm-
what they would have told you, what you might have thought, or anything like that.
Alienation happened.
The alienation happened. It was passed by the New York State Legislature. It was signed by the governor. The property's not parkland. That's the best I could say
What
on
year?
that. I think it was I want to say 2024, maybe 2025 early. It's right in that time frame.
So the applicant came to the town after this study was done for a needs assessment, right? For where there was coverage that was lacking.
So let's take a step back. The town code requires that telecommunication facilities be placed on town property. Okay? Homeland Towers, who's seeking the lease from the town board, works on behalf of telecommunications companies, in this instance, Verizon. Verizon is the one that determines where it has needs and where it doesn't have needs. And it determined that it had a need in this area. And Homeland Towers has been looking in this area for many, many, many years. It looked at a number of different locations. It looked at the farm, which was deed restricted. It looked at Gilco, which was not interested. The rest of the surrounding area is by and far either parkland, wetlands, or residential. Homeland Towers, in their due diligence, looked at those commercial properties as well. Homeland Towers is very familiar with the process in the town of Yorktown, having undergone at least 2 other projects on town property following the town code, and a 3rd project on non-town property, including Quinlan Street, Hill Boulevard, and Dell Avenue, I should say. Simultaneously with all of this, Westchester County, in conjunction with a number of northern Westchester communities, retained a third-party expert, totally unrelated to this project, totally unrelated to Homeland Towers, totally unrelated to Verizon Wireless. And it commissioned a study for the northern communities on behalf of the county who paid for the project, it's my understanding. Third-party company called Cityscape, and they prepared a report. And what Cityscape did, not in conjunction with the carriers or Homeland Tower or anyone else, they inventoried existing wireless facilities throughout northern Westchester County. They produced maps based on their own engineering methodology that confirmed the need in many different areas, including within the town of Yorktown, including within this location. They did polling of town residents to confirm that folks were interested in better wireless service, and they prepared a full report. That,
Paid them.
I believe the county paid them. We had nothing to do with that. So that report confirmed what we already knew, which was that there was a need in the Granite Springs area. And we've been working on this project, quite frankly, long before that report. And that report confirmed the need in this area. The town's code requires that applicants go on town property. And that's the process that we've been following now since, I believe, at least 2021, 2022. This was a very difficult property, but we had to use town property. And it was difficult because it was originally listed as parkland. Now, was it active parkland? There was no sign that it was parkland. There were no parks. There were no playgrounds. There were no ball fields. There's nothing like that. It's basically a piece of property that was not being used for anything that the town had taken at some point in time. And the town made the request. The local legislators filed for the legislation, which is required under the New York State Constitution, and the New York State legislator passed the alienation bill, which the governor signed. So that's the history of the project. So there are really 2 different reports. There's the Cityscape report, which we have nothing to do with, which confirmed the need in this area. But more importantly, there are the reports from the experts on behalf of this application that are showing the coverage need for Verizon and the need in this area. In addition to that, both the Volunteer Ambulance Corps and the Fire Department both indicated a need for better service in the area. And particularly with the Fire Department, they want to place equipment on the tower, just as they've done on other Homeland Tower facilities within the town of Yorktown to improve their communications. So that's the background of how this came about.
And thank you for that breakdown. And I understand that they want things to go on town properties, which if it was here, if it was water towers, other things like that. My concern with this is it was park. If I went to the town hall at that time when I was buying a house or something, and they told me there was parkland, I wouldn't think there was gonna be a tower up there at some point.
I mean, so was Hill Boulevard, right? With all due respect, Hill Boulevard was the same thing. It was technically parkland that required an alienation that went through the process, and then now the tower is up over on Hill Boulevard. So it's the same.
I
It's the
get
same
it,
issue.
And everybody's got one of these things, right? This one happens to be Verizon, so I'm sure my service will improve. And everybody puts them up to their head. It's the visual impact. So can you, or I see your engineers here, can we talk to the visual impact from the surrounding?
Sure. So we had Saratoga Associates produce a viewshed map, which showed very little visibility from the project. It's only 130 feet in height. It's set well back off the property line, all the way back in a heavily wooded parcel. When you look at if you look at the aerial map, if you look at the viewshed map, it's in a location that is the least dense in the area. It's relatively distant from the residential areas. It's surrounded to the west by the wetlands. It's surrounded to the north by the wetlands, and it's surrounded to the east by the farm. The farm, which draws, as of 2017, 25,000 people per year to the farm. And we all know what it's like over there at that time of year, and the traffic that generates and the usage that generates. So those are the three surrounding sides. And then on Granite Springs Road, there's obviously residences along Granite Springs Road. There's also across the street the lake, and then it drops off from Granite Springs Road down to Sparkle Lake. Going to the east, you have Mayapack Avenue, which is in the town of Somers. But all the surrounding area is essentially residential, parkland, farm, or basically wetland / swamp area and lakes. That's the surrounding area. So when you look at the viewshed maps, the area of you want to pull the viewshed up? Yeah.
Why don't
Why
we
don't we
go-
pull the
let's-
viewshed up map?
Yeah, he's gonna pull them up.
Okay.
When you look at the viewshed map, what it does is through computer prediction, using topography, it shows areas where there's likely visibility and not likely visibility. And as you can see, based on the way this is set back in the topography, most of the purple areas, which is the area of potential visibility, are areas by the back plots of the farm. Some areas, I guess that's over by where the trees are planted, the Christmas tree farm. I think that's the location there. As you know, there's also there's a power line set of poles that run through that area, adjacent to over by where the county bike trail is. But everything else drops off, and everything drops off like when you go south and southwest, goes towards Broadview. That all drops off. So that's not going to have visibility of the tower, despite what maybe some folks might say. And that's just simply because of the topography, the height of the tower, the way it's set back on the property, and the fact that it's heavily wooded in the surrounding area. So Joe, if you can scroll through there.
Too high up.
Wind.
Yeah.
But assuming that visibility is an issue, what steps can you take to reduce the impact?
Sure. So we've shown two different types of facilities here. So this is just a good example of how you can see what the area looks like. With the telephone poles, it's very, the roads in that area are very dense. There's a lot of telephone poles. I think this actually shows the old Indian Point siren, which I don't believe is there anymore. I believe that was removed. I could be wrong about that, but the last time I was out in this area, I didn't see the Indian Point siren. But that's where this viewpoint is from. And Joe, if you can just scroll a little to the next one.
Isn't that
Yeah.
from the
So
road?
can you see the pole? So that's the pole in the background, and there's a couple different options. One is a lattice tower, which we didn't propose because that tends to stand out in this type of environment. One's a very slim monopole. Joe, if you go back, that would be the monopole, and that could be painted brown. It could be painted blue. We believe like a light gray in this instance is the best. And then there's the stealth tree design. If you can forward. And we think that actually creates more visibility. We think that that's more visible because it creates bulk on the tower. In addition to that,
the one on 35?
It's like the one on 35, exactly. And the other thing about this that's different, that would be different about this than the one on 35, is that specifically the town's emergency services, we're reserving the top of the tower for the town's emergency services. And what they typically have, what we call whip antennas, about 10 feet in length, a few inches in diameter. So they're like whips. And for them to stick up out of the top of a monopine, as we call it, a fake pine tree, we think that that would defeat the stealthing of that tree. We also think that the branches, in some cases, work where you have a hill in the background. We think that that's a good spot for a monopine design. Where you have it like this, we think it increases visibility. But nevertheless, we showed the different options. Joe, if you can scroll to the next one, and the next one.
What's the diameter of those whip?
So the whip antennas usually about 2.5 inches in diameter, and there's usually a couple of them that stick up off the top of the tower. I think the town retained its own consultant who prepared a report, who had some photographs in it. I believe his name is Doug Fishman. He had some photographs showing what those whip antennas would look like on the top of the tower. But again, the tower is going to be distant. If you can scroll through one more. So I don't know if you could see the difference. The tower's in the background below the tree line. And Joe's, as he's toggling through it, you could see it on the left-hand side. Okay. Again, that and you can't, when you talk about potential visibility, you can't think that the Earth is flat or that there's no angles involved. Everything is perspective. So if you're looking down on something, it's more visible. If you're looking up on something, the more screening you have in the foreground, the less likely to be visible. And that's what we think we have here. We think from the south, we have a tremendous amount of topography change, and we also have a tremendous amount of screening in the area from the local visibility. Joe, if you could scroll again. That would be the tree. Again, and this is leaf-off conditions. This is worst-case scenario, leaf-off conditions. With leaf on, there would be less visibility, obviously. So that would be the tree, and you can see it's, again, there are pine trees in the area, so that's a good feature. But we think because there's not a background, that this would actually increase visibility. Joe, if you can scroll again. And then if you can scroll again, you can see in the background there. That'd be the tree line, and then if you could scroll again, that would be with the tree, and then. So again, these photographs are from places that are, again, very difficult to see, but we did have them render it. But this is all consistent with and there you have the tree, and you can see it does stand out a bit more. Consistent with the view shed mapping that was prepared.
John, this is on referral from the town board.
Yes.
This has been through, I'm sure, quite a process on the town boards. And on our end, what, outside of making some comments, what control do we have over this project?
The planning board?
Yes.
None.
I would say all we should be doing is looking at the site plan and, make sure it works. The only issue I recall, I'm not sure you guys resolved it, an issue of wetlands delineation was raised at some point towards the end of this process. Has that been addressed?
Well, we think we've addressed it quite thoroughly, and let me tell you how we've addressed it.
Mm-hmm.
We had our engineers delineate the wetland originally. Okay, the DEC signed off on that delineation, and you have the DEC jurisdictional determination map signed by the DEC.
Right.
The town had an older wetland consultant that had went out to look at the wetlands and wanted one of the flags to be removed. The town had a new wetland consultant go out and agree with the original wetland delineation. So,
Okay.
So the DEC, the town's latest wetland consultant, and obviously our wetland experts have all concluded the same thing about where the wetland line is. Now, we are in the buffer, so this property is a flag lot.
Right.
And the flagpole is where the proposed access drive is. What we did is we did shift the access drive slightly. We made the access drive more narrow. We saved more trees. We changed there was some curbing that needed to be done, some retaining walls to stabilize everything. We made that a gabion block wall, so that way it would be pervious. And we proposed plantings all throughout that area. So we have over 200 native plants. We have 54 native shrubs, and we've changed the species based on comments and feedback that we've received on the 24 trees that we have proposed. And we've made those changes throughout the process of revising the site plan. So the other thing that we did with that, and this may have come from this meeting, if I originally remember a few years back, there was a request to place a gate on the street, so that way that no one would use this access drive to trespass or anything like that. And we proposed that simple gate down by the entrance to the access drive. The pad coming off of the road is pervious pavers, and then it becomes a gravel driveway the rest of the way. This is all of the storm water is calculated in the SWIP. We assumed that we were not going to gain any benefit from percolation, and all of the stormwater storage of the compound is based on the compound and no benefit of percolation. We did it with gravel. The rest of the stormwater management plan is, quite frankly, a very simple plan. It's not that complicated. It's basically taking the water, capturing it up top. Any water that's coming down the driveway, it's in swales. There's one pipe that goes underneath so it doesn't wash out the road, and everything is then placed into the wetland, which is where it was going in the first place. Nothing is going to any neighboring residential property. Nothing is miraculously going uphill. We're not in any way impeding any existing runoff from the neighboring properties. It's all being dealt with exactly the way it's dealt with today.
Has there ever been a history of flooding on that road where it dips down, where you're
Granite Springs?
proposing the access? It's Granite Springs, right?
There may have been when there was some beaver problems, but
Okay.
I don't know of any others without the beaver problem.
Any issues with the site plan itself?
I
Not at-
think we
not
ought
at
to be
this point.
concerned about the visual impact.
Yeah.
That's,
And
Yeah.
that ought to be addressed very definitively by the town board. I'm
Yes.
sure they'll give it their ultimate consideration.
All right, so can we start to draft up a memo for review?
Sure.
And go from there?
So other than visual impacts, are there other particular things you feel should be mentioned in the memo?
I want to make sure certain, is Abaca going to look at the visual?
I'm sure they already have.
Okay.
Or are in the process.
We're back on their agenda as well.
And
I thought that was adjourned.
I was told that we're on next week.
for Abaca.
Oh,
Yeah, Abaca, we're on next week.
Town board is in the middle of adjourned public hearing on this.
Is there language about the emergency services getting their equipment on there?
It's also built into the lease, and as part of the lease, we reserve that space. As part of the lease, we also make a $25,000 fund for emergency services equipment.
I do think we have to talk about, at some point, the use of parkland, regardless of its state. I think that should be put in the record.
What do you want to say?
I think we should bounce a few things around, but I think it should
I
be.
mean, I think it's an important issue. I'm not sure it's before us right now.
No,
It might be before us as we
You
work
never
on
know.
other
Yeah.
things, you know.
right.
I just want to make one comment in general that having been on the town board side of things many years ago, I am certainly sympathetic and understanding of residents' concerns over these projects. And I just want to state that I have read all the comments from the members of the public. I sympathize with many of those concerns, but it's not my place on this board, which is to advise the town board of site plan related issues. They have to make the tough decision as to the original underlying, yes, should we use it for this purpose at all or not? It's not before us to opine on that. That's purely their issue. It's not ours.
Yep. I do think we could word some things in there, though, just,
Things they should look at or be concerned about, yes. Related to the site plan, sure.
I just had one quick question. Exactly how far are you proposing the tower to be from the closest residence?
Approximately 411 feet.
how high is that tower?
130 feet.
All right, we'll work up a memo.
Thank you very much for your time this evening.
Thank you.
Take care.
Guys, before you go on to the next thing, I just wanted to apologize. I got stuck at the fire advisory board meeting, and that's why I'm late. I'm having that meeting moved.
We know how busy you are. You never stop.
Never. So, I apologize.
No apology necessary. Okay, next on the agenda, we have the Underhill Farm project. This is a discussion of an approved site plan, location 370 Underhill Avenue.
What are we doing here?
Back again. So when we, well, let me get, logged in here.
Jesus, mother of God.
You gotta fix that, man. I just don't know what it is.
It's every time.
I don't know.
Sergi, go figure it out.
The toilet flushing.
Need a driver update. Dell command update. Version 5.6.
So, okay, so the last time we were before you, we were basically had a discussion around 4 amendments to the site plan. One being the pump house for the irrigation system, which is at the northeast corner of the pond. Backup generator, which is off the back of the apartment building. And some historic signage that will, 2 different signs, 2 historic signs to be placed on the site. In addition to that, we discussed the intersection, and to give you an update of where that's at now, the NYSEG and Cablevision have relocated all their utility lines to the new poles. Verizon is behind on that, and they expect to, in the next couple of weeks, get to that and relocate their lines as required. In the near future, the next few weeks, weather permitting, temporary striping will be put in place at the approval of the DOT, and it's temporary because there's going to be paving and upgrades done, but at this point they want to get the striping down so that traffic control is done properly. And at that point, once the DOT gives them the final, they'll get that striping down. There's an additional amendment being proposed by the applicant. So, and this focuses on the cul-de-sac. So this is the approved plan here. So this is, here's the cul-de-sac. At the head of the cul-de-sac, there's a 4-unit building. The proposal is to rotate this building and slide it to this side of the cul-de-sac here. So it will look like this. So the cul-de-sac will turn slightly and move closer to Glenrock Street, and these 4 units will be located parallel to this side lot line with Beaver Ridge. So that's being proposed at this time also, and they would like to include that as part of the 4 other proposals that we just talked about, the proposed amendments that we just talked about.
That's building 11? You're moving?
Yes. Yes, so, and the other thing, and my client just wanted me to bring up was they are working towards starting to get some certificates of occupancy in the upcoming month. So like to wrap all this up so that they can move towards that. And another piece of news is the subdivision has been approved by the health department at this point. You'll be getting the plat to sign any day. But I think copies have already been sent over to the planning department of the signed site plan.
I did meet with John, and we went over this. I do think this is an improvement, as it's now pushing further away from the residents on the other side. I really, again, am happy that you guys took that fence off the application and are just going with landscaping. I think it's a big win. Happy to hear that the intersection work is going to be completed, at least in a temporary fashion, before COs are issued, so that we won't have the issue with traffic that, and I said it once, I said it 1,000 times, traffic was in my opinion, the biggest driver here. Does anybody have any concerns or issues with the proposed changes?
I just have a question. When do you think you'll be able to actually put down the striping on the intersection?
luck with
Because I
that
go
now.
through that every day, and people don't know if there's one
You have
lane
to
or
tape.
two.
Yeah,
So
I think in, the next,
I think they just put in lights, didn't
the
they,
next
last
2 weeks,
week?
I think it's also the weather has some play in it also, but in the next 2 weeks,
And
Next 2 weeks what? I'm sorry, I missed it.
striping.
it's temporary striping, yeah.
And I did also email back Lynn at the historical board and, tell them we needed to get something back within 30 days.
On the sign.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that they're going over.
I don't have a problem with this change.
I don't either. I think it's an improvement.
Joe, did you show us with the change of the cul-de-sac and the 4 units rotating around, did you show us the new landscape plan for that area? Has that been developed yet?
We haven't developed a landscape
Okay.
plan yet for that.
Could you also, while you're doing that, also add in a site section through Glen Rock Street, through the cul-de-sac and the units?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay. Anything to add? Good? Thank you very much.
Okay.
Project looks like it's coming along very nicely.
What's stone?
Okay, next on the agenda, we have Hearthstone Minor Subdivision. This is a discussion of a 2-lot subdivision.
Must be in our system.
You guys need an IT guy? I know what's going on. Look at my card.
Good evening, members of the board. Dan Collins, Hudson Engineering. We're the engineers for the project. Since our last meeting, we actually had the arborist went out, was actually able to go through the site and survey all the new trees. And I'll switch to that back quick. So we were able to update the table, include that on the drawing, as well as number all the trees, and update the amount of trees being removed, which I think comes to, I believe, 44 trees being removed. Yes. And then based on our meeting back in December, you had mentioned the 100-year storm, so we updated the stormwater and resize it to treat the 100-year storm and control the flows from the site. So now there's going to be 15 Coltex for each lot for the 100-year storm, and that reduces all the way up for anything leaving the site downhill. We did receive the comment memo literally just before the meeting from Dan. Two comments, pretty straightforward. One of them is to lower the sewer so that it could potentially be extended in the future, which is no problem at all because it's definitely deep enough. And the second was provide a drainage easement, whether it be on this side or this side, to convey the flows and overflows from these systems down to the rear of the property, which ultimately goes down to the Gomer wetlands. Aside from that, I think we submitted everything, and we're looking to get some final feedback from the board and hopefully finish this up.
I have one comment. We've seen lots of tree reports from various companies here, and this is one of the better. This is the best one I've seen. I like the way it was done. I like that each tree was specifically set out and inventoried.
Yes, he's very good.
And the standards of construction monitoring and things of that sort of very helpful. And I'm going to try to keep that in mind in the future. But thank you very much for
Yes,
that.
no problem, absolutely.
I don't see any particular issues that would prevent us from moving forward here.
No. What are our next steps, Joe?
We were hoping to see maybe we could get on the next meeting of this month, because I know we lost the date.
Yeah, we missed 2 weeks ago. Yeah. What do we have? Where are we at? Did we do hearings on this? Okay.
First meeting March.
Is that right? First meeting in March?
Guess that's what we have to do if we
Yeah,
have to
it's
do it for the
noticing
public
and-
hearing, because of the
The
notification.
notice requirements
Yeah.
kind of tie our hands
All right.
here. Yeah.
All right?
Yeah,
Just work out the details with the staff. We'll go from here.
sounds great.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, guys. Have a good night. Thank you.
At York Farm.
Okay, next we have York Farms Estates. This is a discussion of amended residential site plan. Location is 1870 Baldwin Road.
Turn your volume down.
Exactly.
Something's.
So, this evening I'm representing the Bergmans, Jacob and Gil. They're Westchester Management LLC. So, last year the Bergmans purchased York Hill Estates or Farms, whatever it was called. This is the property here. It's a multifamily development right here. It's on Baldwin Road, just as you can see, just west of the power lines. There's Giordano Drive right here. So after acquiring the property, well, let me just go back on the history of the property a little bit. It was originally approved under the R3 zone for 79 units. 76 of the units were new, 3 were existing. There's some affordable component to it also. That's still in place. The original site plan was approved for 174 parking spaces, and the density was based on a net lot area, which deducted the wetland and buffer from the total lot area of 7.84 to 7.32. And with that, it ended up with the 79 units and an FAR of 0.199, which is just below the maximum, which is .20. If they went with a straight 12 units per acre, which is also part of the bulk requirements for the R3 zone, it could get up to 88 units, but the FAR controlled it as part of that original approval. So after purchasing the property, the Bergmans discovered there are 4 units which were in excess of the original approved 79. They were occupied and had no COs. So at this point, they are looking to amend that, get COs on those 4 units. They're not occupied now, so they want to upgrade them to current code and apply for whatever permits are necessary or approvals are necessary to establish those as legal units. It is allowed by the density of 12 units per acre. It does fall in there, but it exceeds the FAR, which is 0.2 as the maximum. They're at 0.207 with these 4 additional units. As far as the parking is concerned, you know, as I had said, under the original standard of 2.2 spaces, it required 174 parking spaces. 170 exist on site. If we apply a more current factor that we've been using of 1.5, we're well below what's required. So we have plenty of parking if we apply the 1.5, which would require 125 spaces. So parking-wise, we feel we're okay. It's just amending the site plan and possibly having to get a variance for the floor area ratio.
When were they built?
They were built in the 80s, I believe. 80s, early 90s? 90s.
They were built, because we rezoned this, I was on the town board when we rezoned this property to the R3, and that was done in the early 90s, so it was done after that.
How were the additional 4 units created? Was it additions? Was it existing space that was?
Where are they?
So here,
Which ones are they?
zoom in right there. So it's, correct me if I'm wrong, Jacob, right? So it's 1, 2, 3, 4.
Well, it's not the house in the middle.
No.
Okay.
So, and they're all basement units. So it may have been at the time, it may have been basement space or,
Maybe.
but it's all ground,
So there's
ground floor
units above?
with units above.
There's units, those were the original units.
Right.
Are they basically the same footprint unit-wise, upstairs to downstairs?
Yeah, yeah.
And
There was no extension, the footprint of the building is as was approved.
Is as what?
Is,
It's the same as it was approved?
yeah, as
Okay.
approved.
What about there was provision for affordable units in the original resolution?
Right.
Which,
Those are still in place, right?
So they're in place, we weren't aware, so we have a few, but we can.
Just step up to the mic, sir.
Yeah, come on up.
Hi, good evening. I'm Jacob Bergman, White Plains resident, first time investing here in Yorktown. On behalf of my family, we love the town of Yorktown. Yeah, so we didn't know that there was an affordable component. There are 2 residents that we know meet that standard, and we had discussed with Joe, we're willing to, as we continue forward, to make sure that we meet that element.
Yeah, because we got a request from the housing board to clarify what the obligation is that you have and how you are meeting it.
Okay, sure. Sir.
so we'll provide you with the earlier resolution so you can go through that.
Okay. Yeah, I think we have it.
Yeah, so they're
Oh,
willing
it's not in the
to
book.
comply with that.
Is it? No.
Are these 4 units
This is,
Oh, it's not great.
vehicle to comply with that, or is that a separate issue?
That's a separate issue.
And Joe, if you would, if you could provide your FAR calculations when you get it.
Yeah,
Did you look at it? You went through it yourselves?
yes. And that's how we came up to .207.
So are we being asked to amend this approval to include the additional units? And you need a variance in order for us to do that
Right,
ultimately?
right. We have to get kicked to the zoning board for that.
Were you right doing that?
You can do that, yeah.
I'd sure
Typically, you
like
would refer,
clarification.
yeah, when you're comfortable with what you're doing, you would refer to the zoning board with recommendation to vary it.
I'd just like to know whatever happened to the affordable housing component, and
We'll
how
find
you're
out.
gonna
Yeah.
comply with that. I wish I could remember that.
So I think you should be working, obviously, as you always do.
Yeah.
With staff to work out the details. And, would this possibly increase what the affordable component should be? Or,
See what the resolution.
At the time, it would have been 10%.
It would have been 10%.
10% of 79 units, so that would have been 8 units.
Maybe get one more.
all right, so again, work with the team.
Total of 10.
That's gonna be a big part of it, I think, is the affordable.
According to the resolution, it says, it doesn't go by percent, it says a total of 10 dwelling units dedicated to the community housing program. 5 shall be for seniors and 5 for Section 8.
They will,
Have to figure out
they will
where that
comply
came
with
from.
that.
Pardon?
I said they will comply with that.
Okay.
All right, work out the details.
Should we set up the info hearing, just 'cause that can't be till March 9th?
I would think
Yeah.
so. I mean, it's existing, so it's not,
Sure.
all right?
Okay,
Thank you, guys.
thank you.
Good luck.
Good luck, yeah.
Appreciate you cleaning it up. Is that your supervisor?
Yeah.
You know who to blame now. His fault, he was supervisor at the time.
Van Tongren's.
Oh,
Yeah, it was one target.
Van Tongren's property. Yeah.
This guy right here.
okay, next we have Fieldstone Manor. This is a discussion of amended major subdivision. Location is 3680 Lexington Avenue.
This is the one with the, okay. What's that?
Yep.
Fieldstone? Hi. You can use the microphone right there, so that way people outside can hear you.
I'm Bill Catucci. I'm the owner of the Fieldstone Manor project. I hate to start on a bad note, but I complied with the affordable housing, and I was recommended nicely by Susan for an elderly woman with a walker to come up on my third floor apartment. She also brought her son who's sick and wrecked my apartment, threw up everywhere, blood. It's a mess, and I've never gotten any money in 3 months. So that's,
So is that relevant to what we're talking about today?
is that?
Is that relevant to what we're talking about?
Yeah, well, we were talking about affordable housing.
No, we're talking about your application. So proceed. Tell us why you're here.
You're on.
Okay, so I'm willing to abide by the plans the way we were approved after 10 years of being here at the town park. It came to me that the town may not need a new park, maybe 'cause they can't afford the maintenance or they have enough parks. Do we have any alternative, taking the property back. There you go. So I just put a couple alternatives of keeping it private, me paying the fee, the original fee that I was supposed to per house, and I would maintain it. Put a couple options. If I put 2 more houses there, the town would receive more tax money and more, you know, the, what do you call it, the money for the fields, whatever. If, so if I put 2 houses, then they get more, they would get about 50,000 more in tax money. They would get all the fees that were the thousands. They would get, so it's about 70,000 plus the fees, and we'd have 2 more homes per year in taxes. They're paying like in the 20s or something.
What's the alternative number 1 that you're talking about?
Oh, that's the one would be, if we keep it private and I put 2 more houses in the back. It's 8 acres. So I would just put a small park for the owners. We would pay tax on it. We would maintain it. I'd put 2 more homes in, which would bring in more tax money.
Okay.
That's just one alternative.
What's the other one? That's
Second alternative, I put a small park in. The ownership keeps it, and I put a soccer field in that can be rented out or leased out to soccer teams.
So it remains private, but it's recreational facility.
Just recreation, right? So it would be
But private.
small, just a tennis court, a basketball court, and then I could probably put a field in that we could lease out, you know, to whatever if it's needed.
Who owns the piece now?
Well, it's a big.
It was,
I'm not sure.
I mean, I know the history of it. I mean, at some point,
Yeah.
that has to be determined.
At some point,
well, you know that the deed was filed
Yes.
in the county. Okay.
I do.
So is it town property now?
so attorney,
dispute
according
upon it.
to multiple of my attorneys, according to the town clerk of Yorktown, according to Michael Grace, who was the supervisor, after finding forged names of somebody forged my name, the notary, Al, was passed away when he notarized my name somehow. We don't feel that it was legally turned over to the town correctly.
Have you moved to have that deed set aside?
Have I moved?
Yeah.
The town has to move. I don't know. I've done that.
It's
that
still a
part.
requirement under the standing approval to donate the land,
It's
so.
gonna go either way.
So, all right,
So
should
whatever
we-
the dispute is, whether it was filed or not, that requirement still stands.
So how do you clean that up?
Well, if you were to require the donation of the land, he would have to go through and properly do the deeds again, I think. Maybe you need to vacate the other deed or something before you do that. That's not
So,
my
The
knowledge
property's
set.
supposed to be donated to the town.
Yeah, it's supposed to become a public recreational facility, yes.
Okay.
So what was the date of that requirement?
About
Goes way,
20,
Like, I agree with John, whether it was donated then or now, I would still donate, and we just fix it, and if the town wants it as a park, we would just fix that.
the plat was signed in 2016 by the town board, planning board, excuse me.
Is there a homeowners association
It's
involved
being
in
put
this?
together, not yet. At the completion of the project, which is gonna be soon, we'll have we're working on it now.
so John, just refresh my memory, they were gonna deed the property over to the town. Were they supposed to make improvements on it?
Yes. I think a basketball court and 3 tennis courts with a parking area and a gravel drive out to Lexington Avenue along the right-of-way that is reserved to the
That would
town.
then be maintained by the town of Yorktown.
It would become maintenance by the town.
Have we heard from the Parks Board or the Rec Board?
At the time of the subdivision, the rec board, this reflects what their suggestion was.
Yep.
Since then, I think that they have put in writing that they wish not to have this.
So before we go through all the legal to figure it out, deeding it back, we might, if the town doesn't want it, or whatever, we'll just straighten it out. One way or the other, who owned it.
Well, you have to you made a determination in 2015 that there was a recreational need.
We have to rethink that.
To
if we-
rethink that.
If we want to.
Yeah.
Okay.
And at that time, what was the rec fee per house?
I think it was 10,000.
10,000.
And how many homes were built?
Six,
13.
10,
At least 13 in the tower.
10 and 14, and there were 7 apartments.
This sounds like a mess.
Yeah, so you're looking at a couple $100,000 plus whatever the
Are the
applicant
apartments
gets.
per apartment?
2 additional building lots
Oh,
end up
4,000.
being,
The 2 addition, if you approve 2 additional building lots, you have to think about its access, because it'll go across that right-of-way, number one.
Right.
So in that case, it'll be another subdivision,
yeah.
which you ironically will have to determine whether there's a recreational need produced by that
Feeling
subdivision.
the answer to that will be yes.
Why don't we send this to Rec Commission for starters and see if,
I think first we gotta send it to legal.
Yeah.
We don't know who, I mean,
Well,
it's,
you know, but either way,
Save the
it can
town money.
be, it can be
I-
cured
I
either
mean,
way.
if the town, the rec decides they want it, we'll fix the deed somehow and make it.
Well, you
right,
can't
John? I
just fix a deed somehow.
Well-
Just because it's going into the town doesn't mean it doesn't have to be an insurable title.
Well, it can be a correction deed. I don't know what the defects are.
I'm Anthony Santone, Mr. Caduceus' attorney. I think it can be corrected. I mean, we do correction deeds all the time.
Yeah,
so
correction deed.
That's not a problem, but before you get to that point, obviously,
yeah, so if it could be
That's the answer.
corrected, and that's in fact the case, which it sounds like, I think we should talk to our,
But if you want to correct it into the town's name and you decide you don't want it, it might,
Well, I think correcting the title chain is one thing.
Right.
Figuring out what to do with it is the ultimate question.
right.
And then figuring out how to make it happen is secondary, I think.
Currently, I'm sorry, but currently there's the question is who actually owns the land? As it stands right now, the property has been deeded to the town.
Okay.
All right,
There's a
so
question
well,
as to
wait,
that has to
But
be
just-
that has to be fixed for that we have
I-
to figure out what
Yeah.
where that goes.
If the town wants the property, that can happen.
yes.
If the town doesn't want the property, you quit claim it back to the applicant, you know,
Exactly.
you can correct
Regardless,
it
you
that
have
way.
to have legitimate title in the first
Yeah,
instance.
I understand, but you have to figure out
You'll-
what we want to do here, and then we can direct the
I'll do
attention
either
to
way.
making it happen.
You'll still have to go, but if you do that, you'll still have to go through and revisit your determination in the first
That's what I'm
instance.
saying.
Yeah.
Those are the things we
For the
have to figure
recreational
out at this point. Whether the recreational needs of the town have changed since this resolution was done,
10 years ago.
or not.
All right, so I think we need to hear from
Back
the
to-
rec board.
Don't you think so?
I talked with the town attorney, it's $10,000 that they would charge me per,
Okay, so that's an option.
that's an option.
That's a
These are all
possibility.
options, yeah.
That's something we have to think about.
But
figuring
if
out.
the town wants to go with the original plan, as John knows, that I've already put the road in, one basketball court, I'm willing to deed it over to the town and complete the park.
So
I
it's been,
I
you
understand.
started it already.
I already started it, it'll be done this summer, and it'll be done. So, and we'll figure out the deed, my lawyers will figure out the,
I
back,
understand.
make sure it's all good, indeed, and I'll be gone. It's no problem, it's an easy park, it's already leveled, it's ready to go.
Let's see let's
see what
get
the
some
rec
opinion
board-
from the
yeah.
rec commission.
Yes.
All right, so we'll reach out to
Okay,
the rec board and
that's-
see where we go from here.
And if there's any other options,
We'll talk.
we'll talk, very good.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks a lot. Sorry about my first comments, but had to get that out.
Okay.
All right, guys. Thank you. Take care. Okay, next we have 1968 East Main Street. This is a discussion of large-scale rooftop solar system. Rivertown Solar.
Did they miss the last time?
They were here in December.
All right, so no one from that, so,
They made their application.
okay. So, public informational or? Straight hearing?
How many we got for March? We got 3 already? 2?
I mean, this is the dentist office.
I know. It's rooftop.
Yeah.
So far, it's allowable.
All right, so you want to set it for a hearing then? See if
Yeah.
anybody comes out?
Yeah, why not?
Okay,
Public hearing. To be set. Okay.
Oh, that was that property where you could just see a little bit of the, from the street.
Yeah, it's far from the firehouse.
Yeah, that's right, yeah. I remember.
Hmm?
I said, I remember it now.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, next we have Jacob Road Solar. This is a discussion of site plan, a special use permit.
Sergio, you didn't do anything, what'd you do in solar law? Anything yet?
No, but it's coming up. Yeah, it's coming up. I think we're waiting for your comments.
Okay.
And then, yeah, I think one of the reasons we didn't do anything was we were waiting for your comments. I think we were off by a day or so.
Okay.
We're gonna have a meeting too, right, with everybody? Discuss and open, kinda,
I'm not sure.
I don't know what
We
you're
had
talking
a
about.
discussion.
Yeah.
You know, it was up for
They
discussion.
closed the
Um,
public hearing.
I'm working on setting that up
All right.
Okay.
to have a joint,
All right.
joint board meeting.
Good evening, Mr.
you doing?
Chairman, members of the board. For the record, Jacqueline Cohen, I'm an associate at the law firm Zarin and Steinmetz, here tonight on behalf of Freestone Renewables. With me is Ryan Hutcherson from Freestone, as well as Nick Bombas
Hello.
from Labella, the project engineer. So we're here tonight to continue review of Freestone's site plan and special permit application for its proposed solar development on Jacob Road. So last time we were here in November, we presented a modified layout that incorporated a 150-foot setback. And your board had asked us about the effect that this modified layout would have on the trail that was part of the Colangelo subdivision. It's
I think it's the town's problem.
I think now I'm starting to think it's in.
When you connect to this, it's like plugging an HDMI cable. It has its own volume, and that's not muted. That's all right. We've already got it, so we're good. Let's move on.
So we were good. Okay. So Freestone and Lobella worked with the property owner to find a way to relocate the trail on the property rather than to totally eliminate it. So the site plan was modified slightly to show the proposed location of the trail along the western side of the property, as Nick is showing you there. So it would be between the tree line and the vegetative screening for the solar array. So that is the only thing that has changed since we were last before you in November. Additionally, we just wanted to briefly address the line of sight studies that we had resubmitted to you back in October. And I believe, Mr. Chairman, you had raised the question of the methodology for that was used to obtain the topographic data for the study.
Right.
This question was also raised by a member of the public at during public comment for the town board hearing recently. So we just wanted to briefly explain how we refined the studies that were resubmitted in October. So these studies were prepared based on reliance on public data for the topography outside of the property boundary. And when the accuracy of this data was questioned by your board, Labella went back, reviewed the data, reprocessed it to ensure no translation errors from getting this data from one software to another. Cross-checked it with on-site contours that were surveyed by Labella for inside the property boundaries. So we are confident that that topographic data is correct and that those studies that are shown do accurately reflect the topographic data and also accurately reflect that there are no visual impacts for adjacent properties. So with that, since we don't have any other updates to give you, we're happy to answer any questions that you might have at this point.
I think we gotta get this to, Walt
Yep.
and just make sure that we're we'll have no issues with it? Do you see anything right now that's gonna be a problem?
Vis-à-vis the trail?
Yeah.
I don't think so. We'll probably, when the weather breaks, walk it again.
Okay.
That's how we determined the original location, so. In March, in about a month. But I also have a question. Between the 100-foot setback version and the 150-foot setback version, has there been any change in the quantity, whether it's in square footage or just panel to panel of the array? Is it the same exact quantity?
I believe
Just a
it's,
different shape or?
it's different.
layout?
Ryan, you want to address that?
Hey, Ryan Hutcherson with Freestone. So we went, the original 100-foot setback had 8,300 panels, and the new version is at 6,300 panels.
So it's smaller.
So about 25%, that's right. 25%.
But nevertheless, you did extend it, that one leg eastward, right?
That's right, we had to
You had to.
shift everything from the north over, that's right.
And so even so, you still had to lose a significant number of panels.
You-
Is that what you're
Absolutely,
saying? Yeah.
absolutely, yes, sir.
Thank you.
So, right now, we have an application. Town board is contemplating which way to go with the solar. What would the next steps be here? Are we,
Well, right now, you can continue the review, and so there's things like,
right, so if,
you can continue, yeah. But there's some questions, like, we have to work out whether the trail location is acceptable and what's going to work out.
there's certainly things we gotta, the devil in the details, as
Yeah.
always.
Mhm.
And again, I think this board's been consistent, and we've had our missteps in the past with one application in particular, with the screening. I know there was a problem with the information that was originally obtained, but it's been corrected. At some point, if we go to approval, I wanna make sure there's an avenue, just like with the par 3 golf course, that we can make changes, so that Sergio isn't going to each one of those homeowners like he is with the Nestle project, or here and things like the Hill project. But public infrastructure is, I got a text from my brother last week. He said, anybody open their Con Ed bill? Everything's going electric. I don't see how you get away from that. The building code is changing to mirror that. Everything's going that way, and you do need these types of applications, if they're done, I think, appropriately.
I agree. We did a public informational on this back in 2024, and we
Yeah.
haven't had any further public meetings. Are we ready to reset that?
I think once we get that detail with the trail worked out. So Walt Daniels is our local go-to person with that. I'm sure that the planning team could get you set up with him so that you could work out any details.
No, we need his input.
Yeah.
Well, could we schedule the public hearing? John, I think you mentioned you walked the site in March, and I think Robin was saying we're scheduling public hearings for March anyway. Could we get something on the calendar? Because we believe that it works. I understand you want to walk the site, but at this point, the rest of the record is, we believe, complete. The plans are complete.
I have no
and
problem doing a public hearing at this.
How many did we do for March so far? March 9th?
3. One's the solar on the roof of the dentist, so.
That should be quick.
I don't know how much.
This will fill the auditorium.
It
It
may.
might, yeah. You want to do it March 9th or the second one?
Why don't we do the second one, just so that we,
Yeah.
we leave room,
Space it
'cause
out
I'm
a little
sure
bit.
there's gonna be heated discussion
So
about
let's do it for the second meeting in March.
it, right? And this
What
also
date
gives
is
us a
that?
little bit more time.
23rd.
23rd? Is that right, Counselor?
yeah,
Good?
that works with us. Yeah,
Okay. Just work out the details.
Absolutely.
Get a hold of Walt.
And the other question, I believe we were getting a memo from planning. Just wanted to check to see if we would.
To
there's
you?
Time for that.
To the town board.
We're gonna send a memo eventually.
Or you
on
don't.
Solar law.
No, I thought there was going to be a memo from planning department to your board, planning board, or no?
Not on this.
No. Okay.
I don't think so.
So, just one comment. Did you say March 23rd?
Public hearing.
Oh, geez, there is no place I would rather be on my birthday than at a public hearing for the Jacob Road Solar. I'm giving it up for you guys. I'm just
Yes.
letting you know.
We'll have a
23rd.
cake. We'll
And
have a
if-
cake.
Thank you, but if you told me 20 years ago that one day on your birthday, the excitement of the night would be the public hearing for the Jacob Road Solar, I'd probably, call you a liar or something like that. But here I am suddenly. Just kidding. Sorry.
You're free to send an alternate.
We could move it back to the 9th if you want to free up your night.
Good call. Touche.
Thank you very much.
All right. You good? All right.
All right.
Thank
Thanks,
you very
Cal.
much. Good to see you all.
All right, have a good
Okay.
night. Thank you. All right, next we have 380 Downing Drive LLC. This is a discussion of site plan, address is the same. I guess my birthday's on a Monday. You can't get away from the electric, it's just fast and furious.
We have to do a memo, right?
Yeah.
When are we gonna do that?
The only way you're gonna produce the amount of electric that we need to consume is nuclear.
Yeah, we're gonna have to do something, 'cause
So why don't you zone for that?
Oh, yeah, that's what we need. That'll fill the room.
That's for sure.
Whole building.
Hello. Hello.
So, the last time I was in front of you, you sent me off to the zoning board to get the variance, the rear yard variance we needed for the loading dock, which we obtained. I think we're, at this point, ready to move forward. If you have no objections to a resolution.
Joe, could you go through what kind of improvement you're doing out on the street? We talked about that.
Yeah, okay. So, as you know, we're relocating the proposed entry point here to this location here, and this location here, here it is where it exists, and replacing the sidewalk there. I had a discussion with planning about enhancing the sidewalk and proposing that to my client. He got back to me and told me he was under the impression that the town was replacing the sidewalks, and he didn't know why he had to pay for it if no one else was paying for their sidewalks being replaced. So that's kind of his position on it. He's not making any significant changes to the shopping center to warrant that, and he is replacing the portion of sidewalk that he is removing. That's his take on it. Yeah.
and this is probably between the two of you. So, where I work, daytime, any adjacent property owner is responsible for the sidewalk, maintenance and replacement if it is in disrepair. I understand Yorktown might be different where the town takes on that.
Snow removal is the owner of the adjacent or abutting piece of property.
What about the replacement if,
Replacement, I think, is the town.
are you sure?
I haven't looked into it in depth.
Because this is a real battle where we are, because they're talking about doing sidewalk districts and all these other things, because there are certain paths that have historically been maintained, and I want to say 95% are not. But
When
I know
there's-
Dave Paganelli up here was talking about this, and I think even like the village of Irvington just changed their law, the code. So I'm not sure how it resides here, but it might be, regardless of this application, the owner or the obligation of the owner of the property.
Well, when there's a development or redevelopment, you see improvements on the property, but also all of the connective tissue that goes out into the right-of-way, let's call it. So those sidewalks will be, you know, often redone. You have to redo your driveways that connect to the roadway, so that's typical. So
Well, if we-
a little bit different here is what they're saying is, listen, we're just redoing the face of this building, moving some new people in, and we're gonna do a little addition. Why do I have to do the sidewalks? That's what they're saying, but.
I get that, but I know, like, if we were doing a capital improvement, right, if we were, let's say, the town of Yorktown, like the supervisor said, is gonna do a bigger project to start putting in more continuity with these sidewalks, and you guys are working on it. That'd be one thing, but I believe the day-to-day maintenance obligation, again, there's even a law firm that we found that spells out who's responsible. So that if you trip somewhere, you know if you have to go up to
Trees,
the,
so
yeah, I'm not kidding.
Big Apple sidewalk pothole protection.
Well,
Remember?
the other thing here is that they're actually changing the configuration of the sidewalks, because they're moving their driveway. So, you know, I think that does open up the possibility of doing something that's more in keeping with the direction that we've been going in.
So I think that's something we should certainly look at, but if we could dig into the code, I just, you know, again, I know we're going through down county, and it's, again, most of them, even, again, I think it was our Village of Irvington, just switched from it being towns or the village's obligation to putting it on the homeowners.
That's physical maintenance and replacement.
Yeah, if there's we issue notices of violation if there's a sidewalk that's in disrepair to the abutting property owner.
Even though it's town-owned land.
Town property, it's a gift. It's like this last storm with the bus stops, right? If it's a sheltered bus stop, it's the county's responsibility, and they get like this advertisements. If it's not, if it's just a pole, they're yielding to the same code where it's then the property owner's responsibility. So like on Central Avenue or something like that, you're responsible for cleaning out those bus stops. It only becomes a problem when it's a problem.
Yeah, we have it, the bus shelter out in front of the YCC is really town responsibility.
Yeah, because it's in front of your building.
But it also doesn't have the county's ability to do their advertising. So in that case, they say, we're not gonna maintain it.
They won't touch it.
Right. If they're advertising, then they
Yeah,
then they
get
take
money
care of
for
it.
it, right. But that's like any sidewalk that's front of any,
Yeah.
I have one other point. Joe, there's a section in your letter, you're responding to Westchester County's comments about the role of New York DOT. You say they really have nothing to do here, but there is an email from somebody at DOT asking for some information. Is that, you gonna respond to that? You know what I'm talking about?
I don't know.
We got one from David Groscher, addressed to Robin, asking for certain things from the DOT wants. So I think you just need to tie that up,
Okay.
one way or
I'll
the
take
other.
care of that.
If they want something and you need to give it to them,
Yeah.
you should do that.
so how can we move forward, not to jam them up, but figure out the obligation of the sidewalks?
Well, we'll look into the actual obligation of the sidewalks. Then there's the question of whether you wish to ask them to make a greater investment than they would than just replacing the pieces of sidewalk that they need to replace from, you know.
Is it in poor condition, the sidewalk?
Yeah, it's not in very good condition.
it seems to be getting more and more important too, because if you're in that area anytime during business hours, the parking is packed throughout town.
Right.
If they can't walk to wherever they're going from that parking lot, it raises serious questions.
Yeah, and the town is looking to move forward with some streetscape improvements, so
Yeah.
that's true too. But
So I think that's what he's gotten wind of, that the town has a plan to redevelop all the sidewalks on that strip,
Property owner's expense.
so, you know,
right, but practically, when you know, when they're doing the funding, I don't know what we're gonna be able to replace, so.
I don't believe, I'll have to check my math, but I don't believe it extends to, the streetscaping extends that far up.
Currently, no, the streetscape is only on Commerce Street.
It's
Is that what
not
you're
on
saying?
Commerce Street. The streetscaping that we had proposed a couple of years ago is not on Commerce Street.
Oh,
I'd
I'm
like
talking,
to
I'm
put
talking
it on
about
Commerce
existing
Street.
streetscape. Oh, you're talking about the proposed redevelopment there?
No, we were there was, we were supposed to do some streetscape from some funding we had. And the streetscaping was
Right.
going to be, a little further down, right? I believe from that corner down to, toward Commerce Street.
On Veterans Road.
On Veterans Road, yeah.
I
That,
think,
but also I think
I'd
possi-
have to check, but.
On you mean on
Possibly Downing
Downing?
On
Drive.
Down, I'm sorry, on Down.
On Downing, up from,
Not on
from
Veterans,
that
on Downing.
corner down to,
the next two legs up would be Downing and then this little spur of Veterans.
I think we need an inspection of the sidewalk. And a good portion of this, most of it almost looks like maybe half, is on state right away. Now, I know New York State DOT passes the obligation onto the property owner. I know that. So they would be absolutely for that stretch, if it's in poor condition, they'd be obligated to fix it. On the town end, I think we gotta get that answer.
The property owner
Yeah,
for the state?
absolutely. New York State and Westchester County. And Westchester County and New York State don't have code enforcement, so they will generally push it onto the municipality to do that enforcement. I think it's something we gotta look into.
okay, well, you know, on his behalf, leaving the state portion out of this, I mean, to replace all the existing sidewalk along his old frontage is quite
It's
an
a long
ask.
stretch.
It's quite an ask for what he's proposing to do with it.
Regardless of the application, take the application out of it. Because again, I don't wanna hold up the application necessarily for the sidewalk, but I'm telling you, that obligation to maintain that on the state right of way is definitely the property owner.
Yeah, I wouldn't dispute that.
So what is he replacing now?
Very
Well,
little.
Yeah, I mean, he's only replacing the portion that he's removing
The
existing-
throat of the old,
Right. So at this point, you know, I mean, he is looking into pricing it out to see if it's reasonable, but I haven't heard I haven't heard from him to say, yeah, move ahead, we're gonna replace the sidewalk.
Is it asphalt, concrete, what is it?
It's concrete,
It is concrete.
yeah,
you're replacing it out in the front, right?
just where we're replacing the existing access.
But
Prior
you're
to
also,
the new one.
in front of the building, you're replacing that whole walkway there, right? That's what it says.
In front of the new stores, yes.
In front of the old stores and the new stores.
No, just the new stores.
Okay. So I thought I see an arrow here. Maybe not, okay.
Sounds like maybe expediting the application would make it advisable to invest more in the sidewalks.
Let's get eyes on the sidewalk, see the condition. Let's have council take a look at the code to determine
Who's
the
responsible?
obligation. And then, in the meantime, is there anything else we're missing on the project at this point?
No, that was it. That was you know, I think everything else we covered. Got the variance. The Abacus signed off on the
It looks like a very nice
elevation
project.
change.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You want us to draft a resolution?
I would draft a resolution and then see
Ahead
if we can get answers
next
on the
meeting.
rest of it.
Okay.
Is this gonna be Dave and Buster's?
Not Dave and Buster's. No, sorry.
Someone asked, I just figured I'd ask you.
All right.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you, Joe.
All right. Good night.
Good night.
guys. Good night.
Stay warm.
Record setting. All right, next
One
we got
more.
the Lamp Minor subdivision. This is a discussion of an MS4 permit. Locations 357 Crow Hill Road. Is he gonna come up? Is he watching downstairs right now? He's gonna appear? You guys have been back and forth in front of us, so what's going on?
Yes, good evening. Paul Lynch from Putnam Engineering.
How you doing?
Good. We had prepared the grading plan that shows the town's driveway standards, so coming off 3%, then going up 10%, and then we flatten back out on our upper level. And we also worked out an alternate driveway where we would go 3%, 12% back to the 5%. And changing from 10% to 12% would need your approval. But what that does from our end is we
Hold on.
buy.
Is it us or the town board?
I thought it was
The
planned.
practice has been sending it to the town board.
I always thought they had 10% no. Right.
Our practice has been to send it to the town board, yeah.
I just wanted you to know that we aren't gonna make that final grade change. Town board's gonna have to deal with that.
Understood.
Okay.
But we figured you would have a voice. in it.
Absolutely. So, with that in mind, yes, we're gonna listen carefully.
So when we go to 12%, what that does is it raises my grade up just enough where my retaining walls get down to a more manageable height, as well as staying away from our neighbor's property. Just by able to raise the grade. When we get to the top of the hill, we're probably 2 feet, 2 feet higher up in elevation. But it has an impact where it just cuts down on a lot of site work.
You have to.
How would it impact fire apparatus would be my question.
I don't see that it would. We have the fire turnaround part is down at the bottom of the driveway. That doesn't change. It's when we get past that, instead of being at a 10% grade, we're just going to go up to a 12% grade, and that's only for about 100-foot length, and then you flatten back out to a 5% where you get to the upper turnaround area, and where you peel off to go into the garage. That again, that's at a flatter, much flatter slope.
So you have like a 5-foot cut on the 10%, is that correct, roughly?
Yeah, well, the maximum height of wall was 5 feet down at the bottom, and I think we knock it down to 4.
Like a maximum of 4, a little less when you get up closer, right?
Correct. I gave you those elevations as to what the changes would be.
We approved this already.
Keep coming back.
If we make, how do we proceed? We should refer, make sure we get comment, as Sergio mentioned, from the emergency apparatus for that. And then what do we have to do? How significant, we have to refer it to the town board?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. All right, so work with staff, get with the fire department.
Okay, do you want to hear from the fire department before you ask the town board to do it?
I think so.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's fine. Thank you.
All right, you got your
Thank
plan.
you very much.
Thank you, guys.
Before you close.
We're not gonna close, we're gonna stay here all night. Until Sergio's birthday.
Yeah. Where we at on the solar?
Gonna be
on memo
exciting.
Feedback on the solar law.
Oh, that's right, they adjourned that, didn't they?
They closed the hearing, but I think we,
Yeah.
put in our comments.
I think we gotta,
Didn't we do one?
Yes.
I think there was a
Sent
draft
them.
one,
Okay, we're good.
yeah, I think it's,
Okay.
And aside
Well,
from being glad
Had
it's
it in your
not your
email and-
decision.
Yeah, I just want to make sure that we're good on that.
Con Ed. Do I have a motion to close the meeting?
so moved.
Second.
All those in favor? I object, I'm gonna stay here. Good night, everyone.